What's going on, everyone? I showed you my first ride on this bike the other day. This is the EMX Ultimate 60 volt from Furious e-bikes. And I thought I'd circle back with some more information and some up close looks at the bike so you can see all the components and pieces and everything, get a real good look at it. And if you're looking for a smaller bike that's still a powerhouse, you gotta check this thing out. All right, folks, let's take a look at this EMX Ultimate 60 volt. This is from Furious e-bikes. Now, Furious is a division of Fabulous e-bikes. Fabulous is based in the Montreal area in Canada. They've got a USA performance division that they're now calling Furious. So I believe it's furious-ebikes.com is their website. Check it out. And they've got a lot of high performance bikes like this on there. This is a mini powerhouse. I mean, you got 20-inch wheels, 20x4, and this thing's got some serious power. I'm gonna jump to that right now. Let me tell you just about the power of this thing. You've got dual motors. It's a dual motor e-bike. There's a 750 watt motor in the front, and also a 60 volt 750 in the back. This thing has tons of acceleration and tons of hill climb power. I believe it's fed by a 25 amp controller that's hiding in that box right there. And you've also got 60 volt battery on there. It's 60 volt 20 amp hours, so 1200 watt hours of capacity. And if I'm not mistaken, they're also gonna offer a rear rack battery as like an upgrade that you can get if you want to like double your battery capacity. This bike's on pre-order at the moment. I think the pre-order price is like around $2,500, somewhere in that neighborhood. And this thing is an absolute powerhouse. I mean, if you're wanting something that's got a lot of power in a small package, this is it, man. It'll go close to 40 miles an hour and just killer acceleration off the line. I'll show you some performance footage here in a minute, but I want to give you a close-up look at all the pieces and parts. You got mag wheels instead of spoke wheels, RST guide forks up front. Those are the forks you need when you're doing all-wheel drive. Those have been the strongest I've found to hold these motors in the dropout. The mag wheels give it a really cool look, and they're wrapped in the CST Scout tires, which are nice and quiet on the street. They got a little bit of tread on them if you're gonna take them off-road. They're not really knobby though. I think it's more of a street-oriented tire. For brakes, look at these awesome disc on there. It's like a two-tone, red in the center. It says Pro on it. 203 millimeter. And they're Tektro Dorado 4-piston caliper hydraulic brakes. Great brakes. I enjoyed the brakes. They worked very, very well. When you've got this much power, you definitely need a strong set of brakes. Comes with fenders, both front and rear. They're metal fenders attached right here on the bottom of the fork. You got a nice big headlight. This has a complete lighting package. So you've got headlight, you got tail light, you got turn signals. Let me turn it on. All right, we got it on so you can see. I turned one of the turn signals on. So you've got rear turn signals. There's no front turn signals though. And you do have brake light as well. If I pull the brake, you can see that ring gets brighter as you pull the brake. So pretty much full lighting package with the exception of you don't have front signals. And here's the front headlight on. I don't really do much riding at night, so I'm not really overly concerned about the headlights. It looks nice, seems to be plenty bright enough. You do have the mounting points up here on the front if you want to add a front rack or front basket. I know some people really value that, so that's good that they've got this and have that option. You can see the Furious logo in there. It's like a dragon breathing fire. Pretty cool. And here's a good look at the cable management up front. E-bikes just have a lot of wires, right? But they've got them kind of tied together and zip tied, and they got them in this sleeve, and it actually says Fabulous on the sleeve. It should say Furious. They'll need to change that. But there's one wire that sticks out though. So if you come down here to the frame, you can see you got this one wire that's zip tied here on the underside of the frame, goes down around the controller box. That's the motor wire. I don't know why they didn't integrate that into the frame with all of the rest of them, but that's the one that's there on the underside, just kind of zip tied to these little support pieces. That's your motor wire, and then of course it crosses over and comes down the fork, plugs in right here. You have to install the front wheel on setup. It's not hard. Just drop it down into the dropouts and tighten up the bolts. Make sure you got your torque washers in there to hold the axle in place, and you're good to go. It's got a nice tall handlebar stem here, which is adjustable. It's a Pro Max stem, and then you've also got a BMX style handlebar with a pretty good rise in it. So the handlebars come up nice and tall. It's a pretty comfortable ride position. For me at 6 feet tall, I always like having the handlebars up nice and tall. I don't really want to be leaned over when I ride, so I like this style. And this one being that you've got the adjustable seat, you can actually get it into a position where you can pedal it. A lot of the other 20-inch wheel bikes with big power are more of a moped style bike where it's a stationary motorcycle style seat, and you just, I mean, you can't pedal those at all. So if you actually want to be able to pedal, you need something like this where you can adjust the seat height. At its highest point, that seat goes up to 39 inches, and at the lowest, it goes down to 31. That's really low. I mean, I put my 5'4" wife on this bike, she had no problem getting her feet down. She likes to get her feet flat on the ground if at all possible. This bike fit her well, able to take it for a ride down the street, no problem. And when you have it in rear wheel drive only, it's pretty tame and drivable. So if you're a short rider, this is a definite option for you. It's pretty rare that you see a bike with a seat that will go down all the way to 31 inches. The frame is like a BMX bike style frame, but it's the EMX bike because it's an electric BMX, so EMX. And they've gone to full suspension on it. It used to be a rigid frame bike, but now they've added this air shock right here, adjustable air shock. You can see your air inlet right there. And it's actually really smooth. I was kind of shocked. Usually when I see the shock set up like this, they never seem to have much travel, but this gets a really good amount of travel. It's a really plush ride. And of course you got the guide forks up front, so you're fully adjustable suspension all the way around. And overall, I'd say it is a sharp looking little bike. It's different. You don't see any other bikes that look like this. The gearing setup is pretty good. You got a 52 tooth chainring up front, and on the back, it's all the way from 11 to 32. And I'd say you've got good pedal feel up until maybe 35-ish miles an hour. Once you start climbing past that, your legs are spinning pretty good. And it does have a torque sensor as well. Not a cadence sensor, it is a torque sensor, so it's keeping track of the pressure you put on the pedals, and it adjusts accordingly, and it works really well. It is a true torque sensor. It is very sensitive to how much pressure you're putting on the pedal, and it only gives power when you ask for it. The battery pack I mentioned was 60 volts, and it's a 20 amp hour battery pack. It kind of clicks into the frame from the other side. I've seen this style on other bikes. I like it because it's really easy to get it in and out, as opposed to the ones that drop out the front. You always got the wheel and the fender in the way. So I like the way that one's set up. You can of course charge it on the bike or off the bike. Charging port is right there. There's a USB port on it as well. What else? Let's see. So the seat, super comfortable seat. Really wide, really soft. It's memory foam, DDK seat. I love it, and I'm never gonna change it. A couple other dimensions for you. The standover height to about right here on the frame, from the ground up to there, is about 28 inches. Seat heights I mentioned were 31 up to 39. This bike weighs 100 pounds. It's kind of heavy. I mean, you got mag wheels, you got 2 motors, you got a big battery pack. I mean, they get heavy quick. So 100-pound bike. You got a little accessory mount here if you need to add a bottle holder or a lock or whatever accessory. Rear rack comes with it standard. It says on it max 25 kilograms on that. And then, as I mentioned before too, I think you can get a rear rack battery where the battery slides in underneath here. I think that's an option they're going to be offering. I mean, if you're going to ride it in single wheel and you're going to ride it tame and you're going to pedal, you'll be fine. You'll have plenty of capacity. But if you're going to go out like I did for 30-40 minutes and just be blazing 30+ miles an hour everywhere, you're going to eat through battery real quick. Again, it's 750 watt in the front and also 750 watt geared hub in the rear. Lots of power on this thing. But let me spin around and show you what's going on the handlebars. Okay, handlebars and controls. First off, the handlebars are nice and wide, 29 inches wide. I like that a lot. It always makes me feel like I got better control over the front end. So nice and wide. You got locking, leather wrapped grips. Don't spin in your hand at all. That's great. I twist throttle. Perfect. Yes. Trigger shifter is right here. Thumb and index is how you go up and down. It is a 7-speed bike. Again, Tektro Dorado, 4 piston brakes, 203 rotors. Very nice brakes. Display screen. This is all the lighting controls here. Headlight and taillight. That turns that off and on. Flip of a switch. You don't have to remember any button combos. These are your turn signals left and right. And then you've also got a horn, which is kind of loud actually. I always prefer a bell. I just find it more pleasant to interrupt people walking with a bell. And then your control pad here. Power buttons on the top, plus and minus for pedal assist, and then the I key, which has some other functions besides toggling through like odometer and trip meter and stuff. I'll show you in a second here. Let's get this bike powered on. So we hold the power button. See, it comes up fabulous e-bikes. I should say Furious. I'll have to tell them about that. And here we go. So this is LCD 986 display, I think. I'll put the right name of it on the screen so you can see it. And it gives you everything you need. Speed really big. And then right here's a little guy on a cycle that's showing you your wheel setting, like if you're an all-wheel drive or not. So let me toggle it. The way you toggle is you hold the I key. You can see the rear wheel lit up orange. That's rear wheel drive. Hold the I key again. It'll switch to front wheel drive. Hold the I key one more time. Now you're in all-wheel drive. And then if I hold it once more, the lightning bolts disappear. They're still both lit. I have kind of determined that this is almost like a traction control. It's still all-wheel drive, but you don't get nearly as much front wheel spin. So nice looking display screen. If I hold plus and minus, it'll take us into the programming menu, which I won't go through in detail because it's really easy to navigate. It's just all in plain English with the menus. If we go into display setting, you can see you can reset your trip meter and switch from metric to imperial and do your wheel size. The speed limit's in this screen as well. It's 45 miles per hour is the max speed you can set it to. Can't quite go that fast, but it gets darn close. And then if I go out of this screen and into the advanced settings, you got a few more things in here you can change. So advanced settings, you can do your number of pedal assist levels you want, the current coming from your controller. This is where you, the throttle stepper, which means I have it set to off. If you turn the throttle stepper on, that means your throttle is limited by your pedal assist. You'll only get so much throttle in pedal assist 1 and a little bit more in 2 and a little more in 3. I like it off because I want full throttle all the time. So you can set that. You can set the slow start setting. I have it on the slowest start right now because I was trying to limit the wheel spin, but it's all really easy to navigate, and I'll let you guys go through all of that. So I'm just gonna back out of here to the main screen. The only thing, I guess the only problem I've got with this whole setup is just it's a little bit clunky getting through the all-wheel drive because you just have to hold the key and toggle, so you can't do it quick. I think once I found this setting where it's kind of like all-wheel drive but slower start traction control, that's the one to ride in, honestly, because you get good power and you don't get a whole lot of wheel spin. I've ridden a lot of all-wheel drive bikes, so I'm kind of used to it. For folks that don't know how to drive these, yeah, you gotta watch for that front wheel spin. It can get away from you. And I guess I could pan over on this side too, give you a look at both sides. You can see how the battery goes in on the frame here. It's a keyhole there, so you get a key to release it. It'll pop out the side here. You've got 203 rotors on the back as well as the front. Pretty nice setup. There's not really much that this bike is missing. It's a nice little comfy, small, but powerful package. And maybe we should take a look at some of the performance footage I took. Okay, time to do some performance tests on this EMX bike. I am coming out here to this 45-mile-an-hour road. We're gonna test the top speed right off the bat. All right, traffic's clear, let's go. Wheelie burnout, it's hard to accelerate slowly. I did make adjustments to the tire size. Hopefully that'll help the speedometer be more accurate. 35, no problem here. So 37 on the GPS, 41, 38. So it's holding 38. It's pretty darn good. 38 on the flat. And nice brakes. We have a 4-piston caliper, Tektro Dorado. Nice strong brakes. I don't trust cars coming out like that making turns. They have no clue how fast a bike is coming, so we always abort speed runs at that point. But 38 level ground, no problem, and it got there in a hurry. And I'll see if the pedaling top speed is any faster. Certainly gets moving in a hurry, gosh. I'm in 7th gear. I can still feel the pedals. That's good. Slight downhill right here, just a little bit. 39 on GPS, that's pretty good. I can't really pedal it any faster. I mean, 38, 39. It's hard to pedal these fat tire bikes faster when the motor kicks out. It's like, it's not happening. I'm not strong enough. This bike is equipped with a torque sensor that seems to work pretty well. I mean, it's very responsive to the pressure you put in. So if I put this in pedal assist 5 and just kind of turn the pedals, nothing should really happen. So I'm getting 140 watts, pedal assist 5. Now if I push, okay, now we're getting 1500, it's taking right off. I'm in single wheel only, that's just rear wheel, so it's pretty tame. If you put it into all wheel and do that same thing, which let's do that. Got a toggle here. Toggle to all wheel. I can slowly turn. And I push. The front tire spun a little. It takes right off. I mean, the rear wheel drive is very calm. It just feels like a strong e-bike. All wheel drive is crazy. How good's your throttle hand? That'll be how easy or difficult this bike is to drive. I gotta tell you, in all wheel drive though, man, it's something to be careful with. Like right here, I'm gonna make this turn. never is it gonna cross my mind to hit the throttle on this turn, because that front tire will just whip right out from under you. Anytime the front wheel is turned and you hit all-wheel drive, you just get a lot of wheel spin. Like, I'm trying to do this without wrecking. So starting out, like, you can just see the bike whip me. It's like the gyroscope effect. It just wants to whip itself straight. And it gets squirrely, like, real fast. So you gotta be careful with all-wheel drive. Time for our next standard test, our hill climb test. We test all the bikes right here. A typical, like, 750 watt bike will go up, if they're real fast, like 22 seconds, usually between 22, 25 seconds. The powerful bikes will be down in the 14, 15 second mark. I'm guessing this one, if I had to guess here at the beginning, I would say maybe 13, maybe faster. I don't know. Citizen bike doesn't, like 11 point something. It's gonna be hard getting traction on this, I'll tell you that. All right, we're gonna pedal assist 5, full throttle, no pedaling. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Jeez, I'm gonna have to try that again and try to limit the burnout. That front wheel spun forever. That hurt its time. And time. Stop right there. Wow. It was strong. We gotta try it again though with limiting that wheel spin. Maybe I'll turn the slow start setting up so it doesn't get so much spin. It just sat there burning rubber. And it was loud. Let's try one more time. All right, let's turn the wheel spin slow start setting up a little bit here. Look at the burnout there. Holy cow. From here all the way up to there, that's a good 20, 25 feet of just rubber I laid going up the hill. Wow. All right, slow start. It's at 1. I'm gonna take it up to 3. That should be the slowest. 3, 2, 1, go. Nope, it's just crazy burnout. I mean, I'm angled up though. That's what's hurting it too. You know, my weight is over the back wheel. Time. So with no weight over the front wheel, and so much power. I mean, we're talking 60 volt. I think it's a 25 amp controller. So, I mean, the front wheel just has gobs of power. It can't keep itself planted. Look at the burnout marks I left. Jeez, the second one was just as long as the first, maybe longer. This bike certainly has the comfort. I mean, the memory foam seat is super nice. The ride position's really good because the bars are nice and tall. I can't say aesthetically I like the Pro Max adjustable stem. I feel like it doesn't look as sharp, but it is adjustable. You can really get these bars positioned where you want them. You got locking grips, those are nice. I like all the controls up here. All the controls are really good. The screen is a little bit dark because it's got like this black background to it, so not the brightest one, but it is a nice looking display. What else? I think you're buying this bike if you want a smaller frame size bike and smaller wheel, and you just want the mind-blowing acceleration. That's why you're getting this. Just being able to hit the throttle and the thing pull hard off the line, all the way up to like almost 40. I mean, great speed, great power. So small, comfortable, powerful. It's like a mini pocket rocket, right? Mini Hercules, mini whatever you want to call it, mini powerhouse. A lot of power behind this throttle. There's a couple things that are a little clunky, like the toggling between the all-wheel drive. You got to hold the I key, so and it just rotates through. It's all-wheel and then front wheel and then, or it's rear wheel and then front wheel and then all-wheel and then a setting I still haven't figured out what it's for, and then back to rear. So you have to cycle through. You can't change the all-wheel drive like really fast. And then there's one other thing that I'm not a huge fan of. It's not a big deal, but I don't understand it, which is the wiring. All right, you got a lot of wires up here. That's just every e-bike, right? They did a good job managing, putting this sleeve on there to hold everything. But underneath here, under this frame, this one that goes down, the frame is zip tied to the frame. That's your motor wire. And then it even goes like underneath that, I guess you can call it bottom bracket, that big giant box where all the controller and stuff is. The wire goes on the outside of it. It's the only exposed wire. I don't know why the motor wire just doesn't go in the frame right here with all the other wires. So that's, I mean, I'm nitpicking here. Overall, cool wheels, great brakes, tons of power, big battery pack, good lighting package, good suspension, good seat, torque sensor. There's not a whole lot that this thing's really missing. I mean, if you're looking for a toy that's really gonna get the adrenaline flowing, look no further. This baby gets you juiced up. I had it out earlier today because I was recording some clips of this thing versus the Grizzly e-bike. I mentioned in a previous video I thought this was faster. So I matched them up on, I set up a camera to get an acceleration of them. So I matched this dual motor versus dual motor Grizzly, and they were pretty darn even, honestly. Pretty even. This one got a lot more wheel spin off the line. You know, stock to stock off the line, it's about equivalent as a Grizzly, and then top end, this is faster. I also took a clip of this thing matched up, you know, going dual motors up against the Wired, the new Wired bike, just to give you an idea of what a single motor e-bike, you know, big power on that Wired rear motor, what it's like compared to that. You know, the dual motors are hard to beat off the line. The amount of acceleration dual motors adds is just phenomenal. All right, I've been trying to figure out what the setting is when both of the wheels are lit and the lightning bolts are not inside. So right now I'm in all-wheel drive, right? We got the lightning bolts. Watch what happens when I hit the gas. Insane burnout. If I toggle to the next all-wheel drive setting, so the lightning bolt went out. Now orange wheels, the wheels are still lit. So it makes me think all-wheel drive, but when I hit the gas, I think it's like traction control. Because no burnout, but it still felt strong. This gives you a takeoff strong pull without wheel spin. That's full throttle, and it just eased into it. So there you go, a manageable all-wheel drive feel, I guess, is what that setting is. The suspension on this, that was a big upgrade for this EMX. The old one didn't have full suspension. So Cadillac smooth. You get a lot of travel. It's adjustable air shock, so you can set it where you want. This is one of those bikes where you can bring it off a curb and just never get off the seat. It just squishes right down. It's so smooth. Let's turn. I'm gonna go up this little hill right here. This is all-wheel drive with full power. I'm just gonna climb this little short, steep hill. We were just, you know, just spinning, digging our way to the top there. Let's go to that other setting. Here we go. Now this should limit our front wheel spin. Let's do that same hill climb and see what happens, how much spin we get on the front wheel. I mean, relatively no spin there, but I did climb it a little faster. I didn't give it as much time to spin. All right, we'll climb it a little slower this time, give it a chance to spin. There you go. So it didn't spin at all. It really bogged down though. Well, let's try some stand-up riding, see how comfortable it is there. Oh yeah, very nice. I don't have to lean over at all to grab the bars and controls. A lot of times you end up just like pitched over forward. This one I can stand straight up in the air and then my hands reach the bars perfectly. That's nice. I mean, overall, it's just a comfortable bike. This is accommodating for kind of a wide variety of people. I don't think I'd want to be much taller than me. If I was 6'5", you could ride this. It would feel very small for you though. Now, after seeing all those clips, what do you guys think of the EMX Ultimate bike? Definitely let Fabulous know in the comments. I'm sure they'd love to hear your thoughts. And what I'll say about this is I see people in my comments saying I'm trying to find a bike that is small enough for me to ride, but yet has a ton of power because I want it to climb the hills. This is an option right here. This is a bike that has gobs of power that someone that's 5'3" or 2" could actually ride this bike. But don't take it lightly. This is a serious machine, man. It's close to 40 miles an hour and this thing weighs 100 pounds. Don't underestimate it. Drive it carefully if you do decide to get this, but it is a ton of fun. I'll tell you that. It's definitely a ton of fun. I can't stop smiling every time I ride this thing because it's got so much acceleration power, which I love. And it's got great top end too. But check it out on the Furious website. You can also go to Fabulous website too. They got a lot of bikes on there. But if you want free shipping in the US, you got to go to the US website, which is the FuriousEbikes.com. But yeah, check it out. Leave a comment. Let them know what you think. I'm trying to think of something it's missing. It's got pretty much all the goodies on it that you would want. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, at least informative or exciting to watch. And if you did, consider hitting subscribe, coming back for more. Thanks.